I mean, when I was growing up, my dream car, which is going to sound ridiculous, is to have a self-driving car which has a bathtub and like the hot tub.
Yeah, why am I not surprised?
Yeah, that's all it is. It's just like you just literally sit in the hot tub that just takes you to meetings or work, and they just have it. That would be like if Apple car is that. Come on, Apple.
Welcome to the Not Null Podcast. I'm just an AI voice. But here are your real hosts, Kevin Doyle, Bobby Davis, Paul Bratzlavsky, and Sarah Kimmel.
Well, hey, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of the Not Null Podcast, the tech podcast where we talk about everything from AI to VR, robots to flying cars. I'm Kevin Doyle, and this week I am joined by Bobby Davis, Paul Bratzlavsky, and Sarah Kimmel. Coming up in this week's episode, Disney's new moving floor tech, the latest in-car tech from Ford, Apple Vision Pro pre-orders were last week. They sold out, and we're wondering, will it be a success? And we'll wrap up with our null, not null recommendation section, where we recommend that you avoid a product or service. Okay, before we jump into today's stories, one thing we haven't talked about yet that I'm going to surprise you guys with. Has anybody played the brand new hit game Palworld yet?
I've been refusing to play it because everybody's telling me to play it, but it's basically what I gather, Pokemons with guns. It's just ridiculous.
That is exactly how it is pitched, Paul. It is pitched as literally Pokemon with guns. This is it. It's the craziest pitch ever, right? I think it's kind of nuts. So this game came out on Steam beginning of this week. It has sold on Steam only 7 million copies in 5 days. That's the Steam game number, by the way. That does not account for sold off Steam platform, so on the Microsoft Store, or the people that are playing it on Xbox, or the fact that it's on Game Pass. So on Game Pass, it's free. So if you have Game Pass Ultimate, you can play it. If you have Game Pass regular on Xbox, you can play it. If you have Game Pass Ultimate, you can play it on PC. By the way, that equates to $189 million in 5 days this developer made. That's nuts. Had 1.8 million concurrent players on Steam. Second highest game being played at the time. That's nuts for a game like this. So Pokemon with guns. Kind of strange. It's open world, multiplayer, it's getting rave reviews. Came out of nowhere, nobody was expecting this game. So I see Paul's refusing to play it because
there's some cringy things to this game that are kind of funny.
Like what?
You gotta have dark humor.
Okay.
You can catch the Pokemon and then chop them up into meat.
Hold on. We can't call them Pokemon.
Oh,
we don't want to get sued because Nintendo sure is looking at suing them.
Right. Better make.
Well, they've already made the bag now. How much of this? What percentage of this 189 million do I have to give back?
Right.
Wow.
I don't know. But this is the game all the kids are playing. Everybody's apparently playing.
I mean, the similarities are insane.
They changed the colors. Come on, man.
Yeah, it's totally not the same.
They're called pals, not Pokemon. So, clearly, visually looks very different, sure.
I mean, they have I'm sure there's one, look at that. I've seen a Pokemon look like that.
So a guy I follow on Destiny, Mr. Fruit, he described it as legally distinct.
That's probably exactly what they've been practicing to say.
Exactly. And the developer's like, yes, exactly. We feel the same. So yeah, kind of crazy. Came out of nowhere. I haven't played it yet. I don't know if I will. It's not my kind of game, I don't think. So I don't. Maybe I'll try it.
Although, should we play it just to say we played it before Nintendo comes in and just sues them into oblivion?
I don't know. Hopefully they have the money to defend themselves now. So,
that's true too.
The first story of the week, let's talk about Disney's new moving floor tech. This is called the Holo tile floor. And I saw this just kind of in passing, and I was like, this is epically good. This is unreal good. So this is made by Disney Imagineering. It is basically, if you look at this, it is a series of small, I would say probably about 1-inch tiles on the floor arranged in these hexagon patterns in a section of about probably 5 feet in diameter, I would say. And it's an omnidirectional walking pad. You basically walk on it and you stay in place basically, and you can walk at different speeds, you can walk in different directionals. That's the omnidirectional part of it, and it can hold multiple people too. So 2 people can walk on this thing. So it's not like a treadmill where it's moving in one direction. It moves in kind of all directions. It's kind of cool looking. So the demo showed people walking on it, along with an example of basically somebody like using the Force, if you want to call it that, like Star Wars-esque, where they moved their hand around and moved a box around on the floor. Like, it was super cool looking. So this is invented by a guy called Lanny Smoot, who works at Disney. He's been there for like 20-something years. He's the same guy, by the way, who made the retractable lightsaber that we were all kind of like swooning over a year ago. Remember that? The one that they had at the Disney parks where like the blade actually came out of the thing? Like, it was epic looking. It was so good. Same guy made this floor. So, Sarah, what do you think about this? Is this the kind of tech that it's so high tech we'll only see it in places like Disney parks? Or do you think we'll ever get something like this at home, and is it something you buy?
Yeah, I absolutely think that this is something we'll see in homes for like VR stuff. That's like, if you're thinking Ready Player One, you know, where he's got that omnidirectional treadmill, like I can see this being
better.
This is better.
Super good for that. Like, amazing, because like you don't have to, I mean, it just seems like it works really, really well. It would also be interesting to see it in Disney. Like, I was thinking more of the home applications before I was thinking of like the actual like park applications, where I can see it just depends on how slippery it is. Like, because if they try and replace a lot of the flooring at like Disney parks with this kind of stuff, like how much are people going to be falling down or anything like that? I can just see a huge like nightmare on the like injury list for something like this. But like the way it looks though is amazing. The other thing I could think of, and I think it said this in the video too, is like plays. Like if I'm watching a play, the way that stuff can like come in and out, like if they have this as the stage, is really, really cool, I think. Again, is slippery because then that might affect the dancing of the play and things like that. But the potential, I think, is really amazing. I'm excited.
Yeah, I want to see if you can run on it. They didn't put an athlete. The demo was
like they had somebody walking slow, walking faster. They never had anybody running on it. I agree.
I think
but I'm telling you right now, I'm not a hugest Disney fan, but if they had escaped the Death Star and you could play it in real life, I'm there.
That'd be
next
insane.
Week.
Right?
Cool.
It's like that's the
like,
game
done.
I want to play.
I'm there.
I want to play it a lot. So, but I want one that you can run on. I've played some other VR games like Ghostbusters in New York, and it's too slow. I want a fast game.
Yeah.
You know, where you shoot stormtroopers, you're running, trying to escape, you're dodging Darth Vader as he tries to cut your head off. That's what I want.
Yeah.
It looks pretty awesome. I mean, I would, if they make a regular version for the regular folks, I'll definitely buy it, put it in my house, you know, but
it's only 5 feet wide. It'd fit in your house. It'd fit in your living room.
So I'm wondering about that, because if you look at it, while it's only like 5 feet in diameter, I think the rest of this stage you're looking at here is also part of the tech.
Yeah.
I do fear that it's bigger than it actually appears to be.
100%.
Interesting.
I think there's other stuff
That's why it's
under
a
it
platform.
that makes it this platform, because you see some of the wires and tech around it, and I'm thinking, my instinct was, why is it not bigger, like for a demo too? I know this is a demo piece of thing, like why isn't the whole floor? Why aren't we seeing like a warehouse size of this floor? Like, because that would be very cool. I know technically it doesn't have to be, but it seems kind of small. So it makes me wonder if that's a limitation of the tech too, or it's something about the tiles that you're standing on are very, very, very expensive. Is my guess. Each individual thing probably does something that makes it so expensive that it's maybe cumbersome to build more. Because they showed one with 2 people on it, but it was the same one we're looking at. It's about 5 feet wide. You wouldn't want to stand that close to somebody if it's a couple of people in this. So I don't really know. I see it like maybe at the parks, but I think it's going to be used by like the actors at the parks.
Sure.
Like, you're going to be able to, like, you know, the Star Wars thing, like the Force thing is going to be like the Darth Vader show where he comes out and does like the little bit there, the Kylo Ren bit in Disney where he comes out and like moves something and you see it. That'd be cool.
Right.
But I think that's where it's going to start, I think. But I want it to. For VR, this would be epic. This would be amazing.
It would be. So like if you had even in multiplayer scenario, like showed them working together, I don't think you could theme up like the volume or something with it, because everyone's like eyes would be in different locations. But if you had VR headsets, and that's synced to this movement, and that's a game I want to play.
Yeah.
That's the game that could just set the world on fire.
It is Ready Player One.
Yeah.
It is the movement part of Ready Player One. Which
the reason I don't think they showed running is because I think you have to be in contact with it to make it do whatever it does. So if you run, your feet actually leave the ground. So they have to make it bigger so that you can run or something like that. But I think, this is the demo they're showing. I mean, like, I'm sure that they can make it better.
Yeah, the way they kind of revealed it during this video about the video, and I will link to the video in the show notes for those on YouTube. You better see it down in the description show notes for the podcast people. You better watch this on YouTube. It's a video about this person, Larry Smoot, who's getting what's he getting, an award, right, of some kind. It's like the second person to Disney to ever get this award or whatever, and it's kind of crazy because they just, and then like at the very end of it, they're just like, oh yeah, and by the way, I have this. It's like,
yeah, exactly.
Whoa, hold on, bury the lead much, Larry. Like,
something I built over the last.
Larry, go back to that.
Yeah, it's like, whoa, hold on, this is the thing, and I think they knew this was the thing, and they just kind of like buried it in there, hoping maybe people would were releasing it / not releasing it. We're not really talking about it, but we're talking about it, kind of thing. It's kind of crazy.
I think it's going to be pretty awesome. And just watching how they were moving like the furniture when the dude was sitting on the chair, like I'm assuming like each individual piece is like motorized on its own. And so it's very cool tech. Like if they don't have it in John Wick 5 where he fights on one of these floors, like it's just cool. Like I'm going to be disappointed. I'm just telling you right now. But I also see like a scenario where someone hacks it and it just smashes people together. I'm just saying, like those things could happen.
That could be a problem.
Well, do you think it's the floor that's moving the thing, or are they moving the thing and the floor is just really easy to move things on?
I think the floor's moving the thing.
The floor's moving underneath your feet.
Yeah, I think the floor is moving the box. I think it's a regular box, and the floor is moving the box, is my assumption.
Yeah.
You know what? This would be like perfect at like clubs and bars, at like 2 a.m. They're like, everybody go home. Get out, go home. They're closing. It just slowly moves people out. Or it sounds like, but I mean, like, you could do like cool things. It's like partying people. They see a group of people like, all right, excuse me, I got to be to the bar.
You know who's getting this first, don't you? You know who's getting this first? Vegas.
Yeah.
No, so Sarah's just been to Vegas for CES. Here's what happens in Vegas. All the escalators and even the flat ones, they all move into the casino. There are no exit escalators in Vegas. They don't exist. It's not a technology they know exists. It's just gonna you're gonna walk by a casino on the strip and it's gonna grab you and pull you into the casino.
What's going on?
The tractor beam.
Before you know it, you're on a slot machine. Like
caught in the tractor beam.
Exactly.
I saw a thing on the Vegas the other day that said if you stand looking around, they can ticket you now for standing in Vegas.
What?
No way.
You're not spending money.
That's some
You're
wild.
spending
You're
money
not
standing.
moving. We're gonna write you a ticket. Get in that casino.
Dang it, man! I should have been more careful.
Okay, let's talk about the latest in-car tech from Ford, specifically from Lincoln, actually, the Lincoln Nautilus. I never thought in my wildest dreams I would ever say, wow, a Lincoln, that's cool. Like, I just never, ever thought that words were going to come out of my mouth, ever. But the latest 2024 Lincoln Nautilus has a 48-inch curved display with 4K graphics. It's powered by Unreal Engine, amazing game engine, and Android OS. So this is a US-made Lincoln. It's technically Lincoln's Ford's high-end, so it's a Ford technically, a Ford Nautilus, you want to call it, Lincoln Nautilus. So the screens themselves, there's technically 3 screens in there. They've labeled them as the critical section, which is the section that sits behind the steering wheel, which is kind of like your regular just dashboard. Think of that as being your speed, your things that basic instruments you would see in an instrument cluster you'd see in a car. Then they have the supportive section, which is the middle section. Could be like music or, maps, those kind of things, navigation, that kind of stuff. And then what they're calling the glanceable section, which is the section right in front of the passenger. Crazy names, but there you go. So it's one giant, looks like one giant screen. It's actually technically 2 screens on the wide and then 1 touch screen in the middle. So one of the important things is the only touch screen is the one in the middle. The 11-inch touchscreen is the one where you control everything. The widescreen is just for visual only. So you're not reaching over to touch something on the passenger side as you're driving. So that's an important distinction to make. It's going to allow for games. going to be able to connect a Bluetooth controller to this to play games on it. They showed a demo of somebody playing a racing game on it. You're also going to be allowed to, while it is parked, watch videos, browse the web, video conference. They didn't say which video conferences, but I'm guessing anything that's Android-based, right? Any Android app is kind of going to be able to run on this. It's an Android OS. So I could see using Teams or Zoom or something on this, which is crazy. I don't know if it has a camera, though. So I don't know how that would work exactly, because I didn't see that, but I'm guessing maybe it does. I don't know. One important distinction, too, they are also still going to allow Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. They're not taking the General Motors route of saying we're not going to do that anymore. You're just getting our version of this. So they're giving you everything. Their own Android OS and the CarPlay and Android on Android Auto if you want it. So, Bobby, interested in this for your next Ford car? And do you think it poses any kind of safety issue having so many screens and so much information in your car?
I don't think it has any safety. Well, let me take that back. Not for me, but for a lot of people, yeah. So, like,
okay,
they're over there staring at the clock because it looks cool when they're off the road. But yeah, I'm actually looking at, I'd actually probably would buy this vehicle if it was the bigger one. It's in the smaller SUV. If it was a larger
it's
SUV,
mid-sized, yeah.
I would probably be at the Lincoln dealership. And full disclosure, me and Kevin were oddly enough talking about this the other day. Why do you buy cars? We were having a discussion, and I said, what I want is I'm more interested in the infotainment system and what I hate about Ford. And I'm a huge Ford. I've only bought Ford cars the last 15 years. Is that the current ones just have it looks like an iPad that's just kind of stuck in the middle and it kind of hangs out. And I said, that's ugly. I said, I wish they would make it more integrated. And then Kevin sends me the link about 2 hours later, like, they got it.
It was. I was like, they're making it. I was like, done. Exactly. I'm like, check. There you go. You want this? There you go. You can have it.
So I text you back because I have a bone to pick with you. You're making me go to a dealership. It's your fault. Like, I'm buying this. I think it's cool. I mean, it looks like the Starship Enterprise. I think it's great, man. I mean, I love it. I mean, like, it's kind of cool. Supposedly this is all totally customizable. You can figure out what goes where, and you can push things, and you can put as much information as you want on here or as little as you want.
Yeah.
So, obviously I haven't tried it yet, but this is in the right direction. This is cool.
I'm interested to go see this. By the way, price wise, just so we're aware, they start at $50,000. The ones that everybody's specking out is this one, the black label version, which is at 75. Which the demo versions that I watched any videos on that I looked on YouTube were actually more like 80 something when they're fully spec'd out. So it is a luxury car. It is not cheap. This is Mercedes, BMW prices. This is, it's not cheap. But the $50,000 version, the lowest end, does come with this screen as well. So it's not like the low end version doesn't come with all the tech. It comes with the tech in the car. So you're just getting different trim and different wheels and different sized wheels and different other things that aren't the interior trim stuff, at least the tech stuff and the infotainment stuff.
Yeah. Like Bobby was saying, I kind of hate the big thing, like on the Teslas or something, where it's just this big iPad that's just right there. I think this is so innovative where it's just all into the dash like that. And then my favorite part is that they don't exclude one or the other, Apple and Android. That's my big beef with Apple for the most part, is how closed off they are. But I want people to have choice. And this is perfect for anybody who wants to have choice in their phone and not be locked into a specific operating system. I think more people who make I wouldn't call this an accessory, but basically an accessory to your phone.
A very expensive accessory.
My $75,000 phone accessory.
I got a watch and a phone.
I got the watch. I got the phone. I got the Lincoln.
I got the Lincoln.
What else?
Yeah, everything works.
But I really appreciate when accessories don't lock out a specific ecosystem.
And I think this is why Lincoln delivered this first, because I know in a couple of years ago, I've seen articles where Apple wanted to break into the dashboard and do everything through their Apple, whatever, CarPlay or whatever the hell it's called. But again, they're very restrictive. And it's you either have Apple or you have nothing. And I like this approach that it's open for everybody.
It looked just like this, by the way, too.
Yeah,
it's almost identical. They're all similar. Mercedes has one too that looks kind of similar to this, but the Mercedes one again is really priced out. It's on the very, very high end stuff. this is going to be not only just on this Lincoln, but Ford have said it's going to be on other models too. By the way, the Lincoln Nautilus is like the equivalent of the Ford Edge, plus body size wise. So it's that midsize SUV. Now, whether the Ford Edge gets this or not, I don't know. I'm guessing the Lightning will probably get it, which is their electric truck. Maybe the Mach-E will get it. I'm guessing their electric stuff will certainly, I'm guessing, get this next. They've said it is coming soon to a Ford car. They just haven't said which one yet.
I might have to switch
it'd have
my
to be
Jeep to a Ford
2025. I don't think it's in the 24 models.
In 2025, yeah. In 2025, yeah. Which will get announced this year. So they'll say, by September or so, 2025 models will be coming out, August, September. So we'll see it middle of the year. We'll see which Ford models are actually going to get this. So, maybe your Explorer is going to get this next, Bobby.
Yeah, no, exactly. Now, in another note, in a tangent, I was looking at an Apple report today, and they're saying that they're still working on their car. And they're thinking it's going to come out in 2028. The reason they haven't announced anything before this, they are still working on. They want it to be fully autonomous. So they said they're not quite there.
Yeah, I saw that too. It just, I don't know if I want an Apple car. I don't know. I don't know. I'm sure I will once I see it.
They sold that headset.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Would anybody else buy an Apple car?
No.
Man, it's got to be like, what does it do? Like, if it's like fully autonomous,
super on my list,
and has like the best entertainment system.
Yeah, let's say it's like the car of your dreams.
Yeah, I'd buy
let's say that it's fully autonomous. It's basically a computer.
Yeah, because like if I could have a vehicle where I don't have to pay attention and I could just do stupid, like watch a TV series, play some games, I mean, when I was growing up, my dream car, which is going to sound ridiculous, is to have a self-driving car which has a bathtub and like the hot tub.
Yeah, why am I not surprised?
Yeah, that's all it is. It's just like you just literally sit in the hot tub that it just takes you to meetings or work, and they just have it. That would be like if Apple car is that. Come on, Apple. I'm going to get it.
I think that's second generation.
In the first,
I don't think that's going to be
it
first generation.
I don't think hot tubs on the list of things.
They're missing out. Let me tell you.
Maybe we don't know.
It makes it too heavy with all the water.
They got to solve it. You got to figure it out.
What's the killer app on your iCar?
Yeah, hot tub.
Hot tub.
Hot.
I mean, like, imagine how insane that would be. Like, if that's an Uber, you're like tired and you're just like, it's just like I have a 2-hour long drive. What if I just could relax while? And it's like a guy pulls up in a bathtub. You're like, oh, slap. Let's do this.
I have too much anxiety driving. I could not have an autonomous car. I don't even use cruise control. Like, I will be on a 5-hour trip to Las Vegas, and I will not turn on cruise control because it gives me anxiety.
I gotta say, cruise control these days, like active cruise control with cameras and everything, is so good. Yeah. I don't drive without it. I found myself I'm driving down the road to the store 2 minutes out, and I'm still putting it on because it leaves a bumper in front of me. It sticks in the lanes. I barely have to touch the wheel. It actually forces you to touch the wheel because you can go hands off, right? And it'll drive itself. Right. But the Subaru and my Volkswagen will do that. But it's I think it's about 15 seconds hands off, and it's like, hold the wheel. You've got to hold it. It's like legally you have to grab the wheel. But it'll turn corners and everything.
Oh my gosh.
It's so good. That's so good.
This has Blue Cruise in it. That's what they're calling it from Ford. That's their new adaptive cruise. Keeps it in the lane.
Yep.
Adjusts speed.
Yep.
It allows you to drive hands-free on a highway. There's some highways that are kind of built for this. I guess they got sensors in the road. I think it's helping them. I think that's the best way we're going to get autonomous is put sensors in the road so the car has something to look at.
I agree with that.
We're a long ways away from a Tesla driving around cities. Ugh. It does it, but
terrifies me.
I would get in one of those self-driving cabs. I'd try it.
Yeah,
I trust it 95%.
Hit you while you're in it. I mean,
yeah.
Yeah, like my Uber driver from to the airport the other day, had a Tesla, and I could tell he was not driving a bunch of the time, and I'm just I just can't watch.
I think it's more terrifying when you're a passenger and somebody else isn't driving. Yeah, I think that's different. That would scare me too. I'm with you on that one. Let's talk Apple Vision Pro. Last week, pre-orders sold out, and I'm wondering, does that sellout mean this is going to be a success? So, shortly after going online and becoming available last week, they sold out. And what that means, apparently, analysts are saying it sold about 160 to 180,000 units in those first few hours. Early estimates thought they were only going to have 60 to 80,000. So they had 100,000 units more than we actually thought, which was interesting. They thought manufacturing was going to be an issue for whatever reason. I guess the screens are an issue on these because they're brand new tech. Pre-orders are going to be shipped and will be available on February 2nd. So nobody has their hands on these yet. They range from, so the price that's been touted for this thing's $34.99, right? $3,499. But that's for the lowest spec model. I looked at one when they first came out. I was like, oh, give me the high spec model. So you can get, there's a 256, a 512, and a 1 terabyte version. If you get the 1 terabyte version and you tack on the Apple Care, which I think you should probably get with this, because I think if you drop it, it's kind of going to cost you a fortune. The screens are apparently $800 a pop to replace. So the Apple Care is probably going to be worth getting. So if you do that and get the 1 terabyte version, you're up to $4,400. This thing is really, really expensive. So, Paul, I'm sure you pre-ordered one, right? And is this considered a success, selling out like this amount of units for what's seemingly a very expensive niche device?
I mean, I at the beginning I was like, you know what, I definitely want to get one, and I do have the Quest 3, which I'm like, it's good enough. Like, I mean, like, how much of a headset do I need to like spend $4,400? I could just go on vacation. I realized like maybe this time it's nice not to be the first adapter, just because I think it is ridiculously priced, and the fact that they did sell so many like items, it's insane to me. And I would say, yeah, it's a success. And I would say like the people that probably bought it are either people that just need to be on a bleeding edge and have the disposable income to do it. And I bet a bunch of organizations bought them like for development, to be able to come up and use to develop apps and all this other stuff and get that native experience. But I think for me, like, you know, I was excited, and then I was like, but I do want to take a vacation, and I just decided not to get it, just because it's ridiculously overpriced. And you can't play games on it, so it's like, to me, it's like, whatever.
I don't think you can take a bath.
Are you kidding me? Like, that's the reason I didn't buy it, because I knew on day one I would put it on in the bathtub, I'd break it, I'll go to Apple and do it.
Although, Paul, just get Apple Care. You can do anything with Apple Care.
Exactly. Yeah. No, Apple Care is amazing. But yeah, it's like,
it's Apple Care. They're going to be like, hey, how'd you break it? You're like, I took a bath. Man, it did not say do not bath with this thing.
But at the same time, I could see the price, why it's expensive. It's like literally like you have M2 chips in there, like a couple of them, and just, so it's like it's supposedly like the margin, like how much the thing actually costs to make versus how much money they're making is not that outlandish. At least that's what they tell us. But it's still such a like $3,500.
I think it needs an app. Like, so we need to figure out what the app's going to be for these devices. And is it just games, or is there some kind of business angle to this that we haven't seen yet?
I've seen the app.
No games.
Okay, you've seen the app. Okay, cool.
I've seen the app for me. Put it that way. Here's the app that I want to buy on it, and it is this mixed reality Formula One app. It is epic.
Of course.
It's so good. It's so good. So imagine you're watching the TV, your Formula One racing, and you have your Vision Pro headset on, and there's a miniature version of the track in front of you that also has real-time version of the cars going around. Then imagine there's additional screens next to you as well that has the timing of the drivers and the stats or something else. I think that watching sports could be a killer app on this. Imagine football, where you had like in front of you is a picture of the field or a 3D rendering of the field, like below you, watching the video up here, but below you is a 3D rendering of the field that has like real-time players on it doing movements, and you can maybe like see the play like John Madden style, right? Like you can see the arrows and stuff, like, oh, this player went here and he went here and that, and you can watch back a play. Like that would be epic. I totally want it for that.
I would do it for football if I had coaches cam like that. That would be great. And you wouldn't have to wait on NBC to do the
replay.
Right.
Replay.
Yeah. You watch it yourself.
Yeah, you said football. I was wondering which version you're talking about, Mr. Britt. But
yeah, I had to adopt. I would have thrown out soccer, you guys. So.
Oh, so kind. Kind.
You will.
But yeah, I think for sports it would be amazing. The other like really cool application I would see for, something where you're immersed like that is like going to see a Broadway play, like where you can be in the front row at a Broadway play and see stuff, or concerts or something like that, where like not everybody can have that front row experience, and you can if you're in VR.
So you would pay $100 to see Taylor Swift on the front row with that device?
Not Taylor Swift. Yeah.
We also didn't say $100. Like,
I mean, like Taylor Swift's fine and everything. I can maybe name 2 songs like that she sings. So,
but whoever your favorite artist is, then would you pay?
Right.
I guess, like, how much would you pay? I don't know. I mean, yeah, that's a tough question, right?
I'm not a big concert person, but for like a Broadway play, for sure. Okay. Like I would. I mean, I don't know that I'd pay $100 because, like, I probably wouldn't pay $100. No, I did just pay $100
you have to see a Broadway play.
I'm like, just kidding. I do pay $100 to see Broadway plays. But if I'm not going to be there in person, I think like the max is around 50 or something.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, interesting. But I agree. We do need the killer app for it, right? That's the thing. It's because I think Paul's right. The people who are buying these first batch of these, there's a lot of developers, is my guess,
sure.
That are, and we want them to buy the first batch, right? Because we want them to develop the killer app so the rest of us can buy one so it makes it more useful. The one thing I did see, though, did you guys see this, that Netflix is not going to push an app to this? And they're also not going to allow the iPad app to run on it, which apparently could be a thing. You could run an iPad app that's just a flat 2D version of a screen on it. And they're not going to allow Netflix to run the web browser in it either. They are actively saying we are boycotting the Vision Pro.
I wonder why that is. Have they said? Like,
well, the earnings came out today, and Netflix now is valued more than Disney, WB, and Paramount, the streaming services combined.
What?
The streaming services, not the actual companies or whatever, but the streaming services combined are less than Netflix.
That's interesting.
So you think it's just because they're competing with Apple TV? Apple is a studio, Netflix is a studio. They're like, we don't want our thing on their device. And I guess it's different for Meta because it's on there's a Netflix app on the Quest. It's terrible. It sucks, but it's there. Mm-hmm. I mean, they do allow it there, but I guess with Apple, they're like, well, we're a competitor, so we don't want to push our thing to their device. But it's not like they have a competing device. Like,
yeah, that's weird.
Weird move.
Yeah,
they'll be there once it's successful.
WWE now, so now they have live sports.
Right.
So
okay.
So
hold on. I'm just going to offend some people now, but sports.
Sports, yeah.
Sports entertainment.
They have soap opera, is what they have now. They have nighttime soap operas. Sorry, wrestling fans.
That's wrestling.
What?
It's wrestling.
That's real, right? That's all real.
So here's the thing I want to say about wrestling. I don't watch wrestling. I hate wrestling, but I knew a dude who made a living doing professional wrestling. And let me tell you, it may be fake, but the injuries they get, 100% real.
I'm not saying it's yeah. Oh, there's a massive physicality thing to it. It's just like the people that buy into this, like, I hate you. And it's just it's like, oh, come on.
Those people at home who are wondering, like, oh, they can't fight because it's fake. Let me tell you, when a big dude grabs you and throws you across the table, I don't care what you're going to be hurt. So it's like amazing athletes, but it's funny, huh?
Oh, definitely.
But I don't know why people watch that stuff, though, to be honest.
I don't know. I don't know. It just feels weird calling it a sport.
Like a dance.
It's like dramatic part on top.
It's basically soap operas for men. I feel like that's what that is. It's like you get into the drama. You're like, oh my god, this is so exciting.
No. It is. Yeah.
I'm not.
Does anybody get amnesia or anything?
Yeah,
like
no,
that?
people do. People the stories that they're very dramatical. So. Like the 100%, the backstabbing, all that is found in wrestling. That's why it's like a bajillion-dollar industry.
Yeah,
because they know what works.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they know
doing something right.
The long lost twin.
Long lost twin. Yeah.
Okay, it's a part of the show where we talk about our recommendations, our null, not null section. So let's go, Sarah. I know you have a null this week.
I do. So my husband stole my Jaybirds, and like he needs them for work. He's like working outside and like he needed some earbuds. He normally likes, over the ear. So he stole my Jaybirds and I'm like, hey, I'm going on vacation. I need my Jaybird so I can run on the treadmill. And he's like, well, no. And so, like, and I'm not like, all I only really use earbuds for is when I'm like, out for a run or whatever. And so I just bought myself some like cheap skull candy. I mean, they're not cheap. They're like $60 or something.
Oh, wow.
But the problem was like, I'm a sweaty girl, and like the sweat got like in between here, and it was like,
oh no.
Like as I'm running, I'm like, oh, this is so gross. So I'm not a fan of these skull candy. I don't even know what they're called, but like,
but your Jaybird ones didn't have that same problem then?
No, like the Jaybirds kind of like fit in my ear a little better. Like this has like a little thing that goes kind of like over your ear. And so I don't think it like sits in my ear as well. And so like the sweat just like, anyway.
A non-successful
It
happens.
So now that I'm home, or like I'm going to steal my Jaybirds back at some point. But
there you go. You can have to buy them a pair and just be like, here you go.
Right?
Have these. I'll take mine back. Thank you very much.
Here, your birthday's in April. You can have my old Jaybirds. I'll give them new ones.
Exactly. That's great. Okay, I'm going to go next because I have a null and a not null. And they're related. So my not null, I'll start with that, is my brand new internet. I got Gigabit fiber finally, and it's awesome. It's so good. It's so good. And it's not just the download speeds, which are 3 times what I was getting before. It's also the upload speeds, which are literally 100 times faster than what I was getting before. Yeah, that's 100 times faster. I tested it. Last week's not no video took me 1 hour and 40 minutes to upload to YouTube. And it's like 1 hour and 16-minute long video on the old service. On the new service, 4 minutes.
Oh my God.
For 1 hour and 40 to 4 minutes. It's insane. It's so much better. I am massively impressed by it. It's so good. So my null is the old cable internet, which I was paying way too much, which, by the way, this is cheaper than my old cable internet by $20. So it's cheaper per month. It's 100 times faster on the upload, at least 3 times faster on the download. And not just the internet, but actually canceling it. Canceling it is my biggest null ever, because you have to call, and it was Spectrum, and it was annoying, and I had to spend 15 minutes on the phone explaining to the person that, no, I don't want the best deal you're going to offer me. no, I don't want the free cell phone service.
Gigabit. Sorry.
Exactly. Sorry, you don't offer the service. I want the service, and I will pay for it. I don't want your crappy service for cheap.
Right.
I want their service for cheap, because it's just better. So yeah, canceling internet, cable internet is my my null for this week, because it was a nightmare.
They are like putting fiber in my neighborhood like in the next like month or so. I can't wait.
Oh, switch as soon as you can. It is
I'm going
9-day
to.
difference.
Yeah.
It is so good. It's so good. Okay, Paul, what you got?
A while ago, I had my Bose headphones. It was not null because of how awesome they were.
No.
And then
no. He ruined something else in the bathtub.
My second pair broke due for me being in the bathtub for whatever reason. But I haven't worn these for 6 months, and I just had them lying like in a dry place. And then the other day I was like, before I throw them out, let me just try them out. Let me see if they work. And they're back to working. And so I was like really, really excited. So still don't buy the Bose Be Quiet headphones, but I am so excited that they work, even though I had Best Buy Geek Squad like policy that just did do jack nothing. So I'm glad that I'm able to utilize the $50 what they were cost and not be a complete waste. So that was very exciting for me. I felt so, I'm like, they work. This is amazing.
Nice. So your advice here would be, if you do happen to be in the bath with some technology and it gets wet,
leave it for 6 months. Put on a bag of rice or like whatever, like the thing. But they do have some good qualities. Like the battery life on these than my like Apple headphones that I have, just forever. Like it's so good, and they're pretty nice. But that's my half null, half not null. Just always feels nice when I make a decision and it's not a complete waste.
Nice.
Cool. Bobby, what you got this week?
So I've got a little fashion tip for everyone today, because I'm so high fashion.
Okay.
The best belt for men on the planet is the SlideBelt. So SlideBelt doesn't have a buckle, and it just slides in. It's infinitely adjustable. It's the best thing since sliced bread.
Okay, and it's a brand called SlideBelt.
Yeah, SlideBelt. You can pick your buckle. You pick the type you want, and then you get 10% off right now, Kevin. So you get your SlideBelt, and it's doesn't use traditional hooks or loops or anything. It's just like a little click on the inside. So it's really cool. Comes in all kinds of flavors and fashions.
I see that.
You can dress it up or dress it down. I love the SlideBelt. I've got like
this version is very American.
There
Only
you go,
in America
man.
could you buy a belt with a knife on it.
You need that.
I just this is trust me, only in America. The rest of the world's watching this and be like, why does it have a knife on the belt? Well,
that's right, man. Just in
America.
case.
You don't need to know any other reason. Interesting. Okay, yeah, I've not heard of these.
Really great. High quality, high end stuff. You know, the belts, the buckles work really well. And just slides in those little notches. So it's a whole lot easier to wear than like a buckle that has like holes in it or something.
Nice.
So, there you go. Anybody looking to buy one for themselves or looking for a Christmas present, this is a good one.
Belts.
I like it. You do all kinds of other stuff too, look. I didn't like watches and wallets and stuff. And
there, see? In case you need to sharpen that stick, Kevin.
It's just sharpen it. It has a fire starter in it. Like, that's like, and a flashlight. Like what? Oh, this is a prepper's dream, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is the prepper's dream belt. That's what this is.
I don't think you can wear that in the airport, but like, you know.
Hey, who knows? I mean, I wonder how many of these would get through security. My guess is people wear these and forget they kind of have them.
Yeah.
I just, you know. Well, that's it for this week's episode of the Not No Podcast. As you do a couple of things, please leave a rating and a review somewhere. And if you could share this podcast with a friend. Actually, if you don't feel like sharing it, you could just like force them to listen to it, right? Like take a friend, like get them in your car, like tell them that you go on a long drive and just be like, hey, listen to this. And then like sitting there for however long this is, an hour and whatever.
They don't even have to be a friend.
To
they can be an enemy. Like just share it with your enemy.
Anybody. Just get somebody to listen to it. And then maybe they'll like it. Maybe they'll dislike it. I don't know. They'll leave us a bad review. Somebody forces their friend to listen to it and then like we get bad reviews all of a sudden because like, my friend forced me to listen to this podcast on their advice. So don't do that.
Yeah.
But please do share it. We would definitely appreciate it. Please do leave us a rating and a review wherever you listen to your podcast. It would help us out immensely. And we'll catch you all next week.